Hello, AP Government students. It's me, Ethan Connell. Now, today we're going to be talking about Brown v. Board without getting bored. First things first, we're going to be looking at some background knowledge of the case. The full name of the case is Brown v. Board of Education of Topeka. Now, this case was heard in 1954, and the entire case revolves around the separate but equal clause. Now, let's look at the facts of the case. It was actually a consolidation of cases from Washington, D.C., Kansas, and Virginia. Um, all of these cases revolved around African American students being prevented from attending classes. And these cases argued against the separate but equal principle set by Plessy v. Ferguson. Basically, you have these two sets of schools under the separate but equal principle, where one set of schools is for white students only, and one set of schools is for minority students only, who were mainly black at the time. Um, Brown was basically arguing that the schools for the minority students they violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, as the education that the African American students were receiving was not equal to that of the white students. Now, the main question in this case, pretty much along the lines of what I just said, was: does the segregation of public education based solely on race violate the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment? Now, we're going to look at arguments for a little bit. Now, in the oral arguments before the court, Thurgood Marshall, who would later become a United States Supreme Court justice, was in charge of Brown's legal team. Now, he and his legal team maintained that the separation of schools between white and black students was detrimental to black children, because the schools that were majority black were receiving less education and worse teachers. The education that they were receiving was less than that of the white students. Therefore, it violated the 14th Amendment. However, the attorneys for the Topeka school system contended that the schools were in any way, shape, and form equal, and therefore the standard that was created by Plessy v. Ferguson in 1856 should be upheld. Basically, they were arguing that the court should follow past precedent rather than overturn it. Now, in the decision, it was a unanimous decision, meaning all 9 Supreme Court justices voted the same way. There was no one dissenting. They found that the separate but equal clause was found. They found the separate but equal clause rather unconstitutional. Chief Justice Warren, which was actually his first and probably most important uh, opinion for the court, he's quoted as saying that segregation is a denial of the equal protections of the law. Basically, uh, the disadvantage to education that the African American students were receiving was enough to merit the separate but equal clause violating the 14th Amendment. Now, that's all I've got for you today. Just thought we'd discuss what is one of, if not the most significant court cases that the Supreme Court has ever heard. It's set precedent, which is still applicable to this day. And that's it. I'll see you next time. This is Ethan Connell, signing off.